This is the lecture that goes over your topic 10.3. It goes with your assignment number 25. So we're going to talk about solving non-linear equations. This is when maybe your leading exponent is greater than 2. Also, it's not like maybe, in the factoring problems back in topic 10.1, you could have maybe factored out an x or something. In this case, you wouldn't be able to. So what we're going to do is still just factor them, but when we factor them, like your x to the 4th, if you notice on this first term, you're going to pull apart in half, x squared and x squared. So it's very similar to solving by factoring, except for the fact that you're working with maybe like an x to the 4th, or if it was maybe an x to the 6th, again, you split them in half. It's always going to be an even exponent that's bigger than a 2. So we still want to get this in what's called standard form, kind of get used to that terminology. And that's just getting everything on the same side, setting it equal to 0. And so you have x to the 4th minus 21x squared, and those are same signs, 35 and 65. They're both negative, so you're really adding, and you get a negative 100, and then that would equal 0 on the other side. So from here, we are going to be factoring, and again, since it's an x to the 4th, the only difference then when that was just maybe an x squared and an x is you split those x's in half. So we are using opposite signs to create a negative 21. And so if I think about it, 25 times 4 is 100. If that was a negative 25 and a positive 4, that would give me that negative 21 middle term. So I'm going to write in negative 25 and positive 4 in those parentheses. And then we apply what we learned in the second part of our 10.1 lecture, actually. We want to use the zero product property just like we do when we were solving by factoring. The only difference is you're going to have an x squared, so we have to end up doing the square root property as well. So this is very similar to solving by factoring. It's just that your last step will look a little bit different. So we have x squared minus 25 equals 0. So when you're just splitting those in the book, it's that equal to 0 separately. So then we would want to isolate our x squared term because we're trying to solve for x. So you would get x squared equals, if I move 25 over, that would be a positive 25 on the other side. And if I move 4 over, that would be a negative equals a negative 4 on that other side. Now we're just, after we did the factoring steps, we solve by using the square root property for both of them. Remembering that we still have 2 solutions to each one. So x would equal a positive 5 and a negative 5. And then here, remember, we'd have to pull out an I because of the negative under the radical. And x would equal a positive 2i and a negative 2i. So in WebAssign, you'll have x equals in a box, and you would just write in all 4 of those solutions. So again, kind of reverting back to what we've been talking about and about quadratics. I know that there's going to be 4 solutions because that exponent is a 4. The previous lectures over 10.1 and 10.2, it would be like x squared mostly, and you would have 2 solutions. Example 95 is already in standard form, so we're simply just factoring. I know I'm using same signs to try to make a negative 17. If I take 8 times 9, I know that that makes 72, and if they're both negative, then if we add those together, we get a positive 17. Or not positive, I'm sorry, kind of blanked out there for a minute. Okay, a negative 17 if they're both negative. So we split our y's apart, and since it's 4, we split them in half, 2 and 2. And then we plug in minus 9, minus 8. Either order is okay, and set that equal to 0. So then we set each factor equal to 0, y squared minus 9 equals 0, y squared minus 8 equals 0. We will add 9, so y squared equals a positive 9, add 8, y squared equals a positive 8. So since that's not just y, like maybe we did back in 10.1 when we were solving by factoring, we have one added step at the end and just take the square root property to get y by itself. So y would equal a positive 3 and a negative 3. And also y would equal, you can do that in your calculator, the square root of 8, maybe you've memorized it, is 2 square roots of 2. So we have a positive 2 square roots of 2 and a negative 2 square roots of 2. So again, all we're doing is just factoring it. If you think y squared times y squared would make that y to the 4th, negative 9 times negative 8 would make 72. When you multiply your inner, that'd be like negative 9y squared, and your outer, negative 8y squared. So that's where that negative 17y squared comes from. So it's simply just factoring with one added step of the square root property to get rid of the y squared. You do have to do slide and divide on number 96. It already is in standard form. So we're going to slide that 3 to the back side. And 3 times 50 is 150 equals 0. And then using same signs, we're trying to make a negative 25. So we know we're probably using two, or not probably, we are using two negatives. So when we list some factors, you can list them all, 2 goes into that. Because it ends in a 0, I would probably jump to 10 times 15 first, or maybe divide by 5 and see what that is. But I notice if I'm using same signs, those are both negative, so that would make that negative 25 middle term. So we split our x's apart, x squared and x squared, and we can plug in negative 10, negative 25. So remember, that's not really the factoring of the actual given polynomial. That was that temporary one after our slide step. So we do need to put our 3 back into the problem. Oh goodness, I saw where I made a mistake. I kept thinking, what is happening? I wrote 10 times 25. Okay, I have a couple of distractions and I do apologize with this video. So anyways, so we took a negative 10 times a negative 15. Maybe you caught that. Hopefully you did. So that should be a negative 15. So I know 3 can't go into 10, so I'd say 3x squared minus 10. And 3 does go into 15, so 3 goes into 15 5 times, so minus 5. So we get our factoring of that polynomial that if you were to FOIL it, it would match that. So then we need to set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve. Okay, so here we would add 10 over, so we have 3x squared equals a positive 10, and then divide by 3. Come back to solving that in just a minute. Hopefully you'll remember those rules about having to rationalize in a denominator that we talked about in previous lessons. And here we would just be moving 5 over, so x squared equals a positive 5. This one's easy. Let's go ahead and do it. Square root of, take the square root property, so x would equal a positive square root of 5 and a negative. Make sure that negative is out in front of the radical. But this one we do have to do a little more work. Remember, if we take the square root of it, you can think of it like one square root, but I like to show the square root on both top and bottom separately. Since we have a radical in the denominator, you are going to have to remember how to rationalize that denominator. So we've learned that in previous lessons. Remember, you would just be multiplying the top and the bottom by that radical, because what happens is when you take the square root of 3 times itself, what you did is you made a perfect square number, and the square root of 9 is 3, right? So it's kind of like if you can start recognizing this as you move forward to college algebra. This is your last lecture ever in PreSTEM, but this is the same as writing this, and see how it cancels out and just makes a 3. So hopefully you can kind of recognize that's why you're rationalizing it. When you take something times itself, it will just be that 3, and I'm going to write x equals here, and the square root of 10 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 30. Remember, you have a positive and a negative form. Now, you can check and see, but square root of 30 doesn't simplify any further. It just is that. So we would say a positive square root of 30 over 3 and a negative square root of 30 over 3 would be the two solutions for that. Again, we cannot simplify it. I know 3 goes into 30, but this is underneath a radical, so it can't get underneath there and reduce it, only if a number was out in front.